This is the question on all of your minds. What is a rather scandalous and naughty HBO show about a mythical land of dragons and magic, a 2000 sitcom about an American middle-class workspace, and the gospel, a message of hope and renewal, all share in common? That is the question in today's video. I'm Cameron, and this is the Layman Cam. What it do, baby? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry for the YouTube hiatus, I was eating dinner. So today we will be discussing the gospel and the impact it would have had for the contemporaneous people of Jesus' day. And what does that mean for us modern folk? To do this, I hope to use some of the most successful shows of all time to stay relevant. To relate to my audience. So, Game of Thrones, a story of a mythical land called Westeros, with a very deep political, religious, and historical context, with one particular character, Jon Snow. Not only a proud representation of us short dudes everywhere, but a character with incredible depth and growth. He arose from a bastard son of a lord, hated and persecuted, to a foot soldier in an ancient order, to the commander of said force, and then to a lord himself. It was later revealed that Jon Snow was the legitimate heir to the throne of Westeros, yet he seemed like something more. Someone who was prophesied of old, who is to bring light once again, and to deliver the world from the long night. Does that sound familiar?
It was modeled after Jesus. It's all modeled after Jesus. You see it over and over again for thousands of years. But anyway, that's for a separate video.
And what did the show do to Jon Snow? They made him the most whipped and boring character in the whole show. They wrote him out of his own plot arc. People absolutely hated the final season of Game of Thrones, and I personally think that this is the main reason why. It left people with a sense of incompleteness, and people felt like they were robbed of something weirdly. I think this is very similar to the people of Jesus' day. Their Old Testament and loads of other literature told them of a hero that was supposed to bring light and to deliver them from their multiple violent occupants, just like Jon Snow. They heard of stories like King David that was going to establish a kingdom that would last forever. A man that they would call Wonderful Counselor and Prince of Peace, that would be a blessing to all the nations. Not only that, but be associated with God himself, using titles exclusively for the Lord, as for this man. One who was going to fix the ugliness of this world. Yet nothing but a persecuted people group and an unsuccessful rebellion here and there. That's when a baby, born in a manger in a small town by the name of Bethlehem, who taught wonderful yet scandalous things like to love your neighbor, who claimed to be that savior and that man mentioned earlier. He tied up all these loose ends that was in the Old Testament, something which Game of Thrones couldn't do, yet in this character he brought completeness to the story of the Old Testament. This is why I liken the gospel to The Office. In it, we meet characters like Jim and Pam, who have had this long history of liking each other. However, due to various constraints, chief of which being Pam being engaged to another man, they couldn't be together. There were all these close moments where you thought, oh, this might happen, but it never did. Up until season 3, episode 25, when Jim finally asked Pam out, which led to a riotous jeer from my house. All this build-up and all this tension was finally resolved. The gospel, or euangelion in Koine Greek, is something that means good news. Jesus single-handedly resolved the theological tensions of hundreds of thousands of his contemporary Jewish people group, who were awaiting a king set to resolve this world's biggest issues. And personally, I think that's the best news. Now, the gospel is a wonderful story, just like Game of Thrones and The Office. But is it just that? Is it just a story? Is it nothing more than a mythological fever dream of a couple of ancient Jewish people? Or is it truly written into the pages of history? In my next videos, we will be addressing this issue. And welcome to the Reasons of Christ series. I'm Cameron, and this is the Layman Cam.